So I'm thinking about, when I have some slob like Pritzker criticizing us before we even go there, I made the statement that next should be Chicago, because as you all know, Chicago's a killing field right now. And they don't acknowledge it. And they say, we don't need him, freedom, freedom. He's a dictator, he's a dictator. A lot of people are saying maybe we like a dictator. I don't like a dictator. I'm not a dictator. I'm a man with great common sense and I'm a smart person. And when I see what's happening to our cities, and then you send in troops, instead of being praised, they're saying you're trying to take over the republic. These people are sick. But I'm really saying, and I say this to all of you, in a certain way, we should wait to be asked, because they have cities that are so under control, out of control.
Some mentions that he may also go to Baltimore as well. All right, so yeah, hey, the scriptures is what they say. He knows that he had but a short time. So he's on the prowl. Right, he's come down with those harsh draconian measures. Right, and it's all summed up in Jacob's trouble. As the apostles and the elders, all right, have been all right, warning you for decades, right, that these things would happen, and we're beginning to see it. We're beginning to see it right before our face. All right. Before I continue, actually, I want to just get a little bit of this article there, right? But as you see, it says Trump says U.S. military may or may not deploy to Chicago. It says on Washington, August 25th, so that was yesterday, Monday. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Monday that the U.S. military might deploy to Chicago and is ready to go anywhere on short notice to crack down on crime. Right? And see, this is Esau, showing himself doing good, which in reality, like, you're not fixing the problem. You see? Because the problem is what, all right, these devils started. They are the ones that destroyed J communities, right, in the first place. Through the feminist movement, through the lack of jobs, all right, for Jakes, the food deserts, the drugs in the community, so on and so forth. All right, Jake, what's now called the hood was really shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Right? Let's go into that word iniquity. In the blue letter. Anomia. Right? The condition of without law. I.e. what? Lawlessness. See that? Because ignorant of it, right? People don't know Yahweh, they don't know Yahushua, right? They don't know and understand Trump is basically making his last hurrah, so to speak, and he's coming down on the tribes. Like I said, this is all summed up in Jacob's trouble. Because they threw the spirit, 144,000 very well may be sealed. All I do know is the doors of mercy are, they're closing. It's being shut up. Real quick, this is Jeremiah 30. I start at verse 6. It reads, as ye now and see whether doth travail with child. Right, men don't have children. They don't get pregnant. They don't give birth. Alright? We push out the sperma. Right? We're the progenitor of children. But we do not give birth. Obviously. So men being changed to women and so forth, that's off. Alright? The Lord doesn't, he ain't with that. Alright? Changing your equipment and all that. Hey, you still can't give birth. At the end of the day, I don't care how tall your heels are, or how long your nails are, or how long your hair is. If you were born a male, then you're a male until your dying day. And vice versa, if you were born a female, that's what you're going to be till your dying day. All that other stuff is other nonsense, is just cosplay. Really. Dress up. Play and dress up. But anyway, wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Why? Because we're coming into a time to where men are going to be confused. They're going to be worried. They're not going to know what's going on from one moment to the next. All right? Why? Because they didn't hear, all right, to the words of the Heavenly Father. All right? You didn't tap in. You didn't tap in. You didn't believe what the prophets were saying week in and week out on these street corners. Or through social media. Right? Because there's no excuse. All right? Our sound is went out throughout the four corners of the earth. Right? Via the internet. Right? Everyone has the internet. Everyone has a cell phone. So there's no excuse to have not heard, right, this message. Alright? But it's just that our people basically are rebellious. Alright? 2/3 of our people are set up not to get this word. Real quick, we're reading on. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Alright, the he being saved out of it is referring to the elect. Alright, because those are the only ones, alright, that did take heed, alright, to the message that was spoken. Those are the only ones that truly believe. Okay. This is Romans 11, verse 7, and it reads, what then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election. Alright? Election. Scripture's always talking about the election, elect, remnant. Alright? Those are the only ones that's going to receive and believe in Yahweh. Alright? That's how you're saved. Alright? By way of faith. Alright? Believing on Yahweh. You can't keep the law perfectly. Alright? So that's why Yahweh was sent forth to be the atonement, the propitiation, right, for the nation of Israel, starting with right by the Heavenly Father. So Yahweh had to send his son. Alright? And then now, hey, the covenant is established upon a better promise. Lord really made it easier. You know what I'm saying? He really made it easier through the Spirit. All you gotta do is believe. By your belief, you know, in due time, you'll naturally start keeping the law to the best of your ability. But even if you try, you know, your hardest, due to the fact that we're in this sinful flesh, and also we're in captivity, and ain't no way, no how you can keep the law perfect. Ain't no way, no how. Right? So we need Yahweh Shai. He's worthy to be worshipped. Alright? Finishing this off, it says, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Yeah, the rest, 2/3 of our people are blind. Right? The Lord shut up the ears, blinded the eyes of our people, that they can't hear nor see his message. I don't care how, you know, you break it down to what you think a baby can get it, but 2/3 of our people not gonna get it. Another one, yeah, right here. Read verse 4 as well. This is Romans 11 and verse 4, but it says, but what said the answer of Yahweh unto him? Him referring to, this is Elijah, Elijah the prophet. It's dealing with the story of Elijah and the prophets, the wicked prophets of Jezebel. Right? Reading on, it said, but what said the answer of him, of Yahweh unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Right? Referring to the elect. Right? Because 2/3 of our people, right, they bow the knee. Right? Right, to these false idols. Alright, in all these different religions. If not that, hey, they worship the so-called white man. That you've been in captivity for so long that you feel that, hey, the so-called white man can do no wrong by you. Even though, hey, he disrespects you day in, day out.